Hey everybody, John Busdecker here with the Orange County Sheriff's Office. I'm the storyteller here at the Orange County Sheriff's Office, and we're doing another live tour today. It's Monday, it's a beautiful day here in Central Florida. If you haven't seen some of the other ones that we've done a live tour at the Mounted Stables. We did one on Friday at our forensics unit, and now today we're out here at Fleet Management, and this is where they fix all the cars and all the cool stuff that we drive around the county in. And if you're watching this today, do me a favor, like us, share it. Also, if you got any questions, put those questions below, because we're going to answer as many questions as we can. We started doing these live tours last week because we know a lot of students, adults, parents, they're at home because of coronavirus, and so we wanted to show off some of the different parts of our agency. We've had a ton of fun doing this. We've had a ton of response as well. We've had people from Michigan and Washington and Wisconsin and all over the country tuning in, so we're really excited about that. And I'm really excited because I got Bob Jewell here. He's the acting fleet supervisor here in Fleet Management. Welcome to our live tour, Bob.
Thank you.
Yeah. So let's start off. What exactly is Fleet Management?
Basically, we orchestrate all the repairs to all the different equipment that the sheriff's office has. That goes from the cars right down to the helicopters, to gators, and everything that the sheriff's office uses day to day in order to help the agency take care of law enforcement.
And when we say gators, you mean like those driving gators, not real live alligators. I know a lot of people from other parts of the country think we just live with alligators everywhere, but you mean those little cars that we have.
Right, the little cars. We use them out at the range all the time. We use them here as well at Fleet Management, going back and forth between the different areas around the property.
Yeah, and I'm going to mention, Bob and I are going to keep as far apart as we can during this live video. We're all trying to do the social distancing thing, and so we're going to try to keep as far apart as we can. I do want to mention this is a working shop, so it might be a little loud today. They got people using all kinds of equipment. There's fans running, so I apologize if you can't hear us at some time. I'm going to talk as loud as I can, but once again, if you got any questions, throw them there in the comments. Real quick, let's walk over this way a little bit, maybe get away from this truck. So Bob, how did you end up here in Fleet Management?
Well, I've been working out, with cars for 40 plus years. And I was mostly in the retail environment. They needed a fleet supervisor here at Fleet. I applied for a position, went through some testing, and I was hired here about 4 years ago. And best thing that ever happened in my life.
He loves it here. He loves it. Come on, Antoine. I got Corporal Antoine Daniels behind the camera. When we have questions, he's gonna shout us and flag us out and let me know if we got any questions. You got a question?
Got a question.
What do we got?
How do you fix the lights on top of the cars and the sirens?
All right, let's go this way and we'll answer that question. I want to get away from the road. We'll answer that in 1 second. I do want to say, if you can kind of see in the distance, Fleet Management is located where Central Operations is located. So we're at John Young Parkway and Colonial Drive. That's kind of the headquarters of the Sheriff's Office. And then Fleet Management is right next to it. So I just wanted to sort of point that out. We'll answer that question in 1 second. Let's get away from the road. So this is a big facility, and you're going to see in a second how many different bays that we have to fix cars. Let's go over this way. All right, so the question was, and I'm surprised we got to this so soon, but I'm glad we did. How do you fix the lights on top of the cars?
Well, we troubleshoot them just like anything else. There's usually a circuit board inside. Actually, there's multiple mini fuses inside the light bars that control all the different LED lights and functions, and that actually runs through a control box that's actually in the vehicle itself. So we troubleshoot it, and then we do whatever we got to do to fix it, whether it's to change one of the boards, change the control box, or change any one of the multiple LED lights on the top.
I mean, I know I have a heck of a time changing the brake light in my car. I couldn't imagine changing lights in the top of the cars.
It's not as hard as you think. It really isn't. A lot of this stuff is, common sense, or I call it the uncommon common sense. But if you have any kind of mechanical abilities, it's really pretty easy.
This is coming from a guy who's been fixing cars for like 25 years or more. So come on this way. Let's head this way. So this is kind of where you go when a lot of people here at the agency have cars. Obviously the deputies have a lot. They drive cars all around. but a lot of people who are civilians also have cars. I drive a car to and from work. A lot of the people in strategic communications, we have cars as well. And so it's not just patrol cars that come here to fleet management. It's all kinds of different vehicles, as Bob said here. So let's head this way. I want to show off some of these bays. Any questions for us, Antoine? Are we not yet?
Not yet.
All right. So real quick, Bob, I mentioned this. How long have you been fixing cars?
About 47 years.
47, that's longer than I've been alive. You've been fixing cars. Not here at the Orange County Sheriff's Office, though.
No. When I started, it was simple, carburetor and points of condenser, and now we have multiple onboard computers interface with one another.
All right,
and
so
we have all the technology to fix all that here.
It's changed a lot since you started.
Quite a bit.
All right, let's head this way. So this is where you come when you have something that you have to do with your car, whether maybe you need an oil change, maybe it just needs some service. Hopefully you didn't get in an accident, but sometimes it happens, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But this is where you come in, you get checked in, and then they go fix your car. But let's go over this way to where the bays are. If you're just joining us, we're taking a tour of fleet management here at the Orange County Sheriff's Office. And I see a Tahoe behind us. That's usually what the senior management drives. I don't know if this is the sheriff or not. If it's the sheriff, it's not the sheriff. Is the sheriff there? Oh, that's all right. You're all right too. We're doing a live video on Facebook. Is that the sheriff's car? Oh, all right. Well, maybe we'll get some service of the sheriff's car. Let's go. But if you're just joining us, we're taking a tour of fleet management, where the patrol cars and a lot of the other cars get fixed here at the sheriff's office. If you can see behind us, these are all the bays. How many different bays do they have? Is that what you call them?
Yeah, we have 14 bays, 7 and 7. A couple of them are used basically for some of our vendors outside that do some of the tinting, or they might do some decal work. Also, some of our unmarked cars are equipped up here as well.
So tinting, talk about that. Why do our cars have tinted windows?
Well, different parts of the agency have different tinting requirements, so that's what we do here, is to make sure they're tinted and tinted to the right percentage.
Okay, because you can't be over a certain
Right,
number.
you can't be over and you can't be under, depending on the application and what they do. If it's undercover work, if it's narcotics, whether it's gangs or whatever the unit is.
You got a question?
Sure. Floyd and Daisy asks, can a deputy take their personal car to the fleet center to be repaired?
All right, that's a good question. Can a deputy take their personal car, come to fleet management, and get it fixed?
Unfortunately, they cannot. All we work on is strictly the agency cars and equipment. We have 2,400 pieces of equipment right now that we're in charge of as far as maintaining. As you can imagine, it's quite the job to keep them all maintained and to work on them every day and get them back on the road.
So say that again. When you say 2,400 pieces of equipment, that means all the different
things that we have. And we have some military assault vehicles, SWAT, whatever they have is what we service here at the agency.
And we have about that many employees, about 2,500 employees. Now, they all don't have vehicles, but
Correct.
Some of them might have multiple vehicles.
Well, that's true too. Some of the motors unit will have a car and they'll have a motorcycle.
Oh.
Because depending on the weather, obviously you don't want a guy on a motorcycle out in the pouring rain or during a hurricane. So
Yeah.
we have a little bit of both.
What was the question, Antoine? We had another question.
Sure. Has the Orange County Sheriff's Office rolled out their new vehicle graphics yet?
Okay, good question. So we have some cars and vehicles that have a new graphics, a decal package, I think is what it's
We
called.
have one
Are
right
those?
there.
Have they all rolled out yet?
Not all of them. We started changing them about a year and a half ago. So all the new fleet that is coming out as of a year and a half ago have been going to the new graphics. We have an SUV right over there.
Oh, you want? Let's go walk over there. So let's show off. So what we're referring to is all of our patrol vehicles have graphics on them that say Orange County Sheriff. I don't know, when was the last time they were updated?
Just a year and a half ago.
But before that, years ago, right?
Yeah, it was like 20-something.
We've had it for a long time. So let me show you the old one.
Well, actually, the old one, there's an old one over there. This is actually the new.
Oh, we have one. This is an older one,
Oh,
right?
that's an older one, yes.
This is what the older one looked like, and that was probably in place for years and years and years and years. And so let's walk over. We'll show you the new ones.
Yeah, we've been actually getting away from the Impalas and going more towards the Explorers.
So why is that? Why do we have Explorers instead of Impalas?
Well, these are all-wheel drive vehicles, so they're better traction and a little bit safer vehicle for officers to be out there,
Yeah.
especially in a pursuit situation.
All right, so yeah, here's what the new ones look like. If Antoine can get a little closer here, you can see what the new vehicles look like. About a year ago, almost 8 months ago, there's a video up online on our Facebook page that kind of shows off the new vehicles, the patrol vehicles, but all of this is different.
Yeah, come on, you can come to the
Yeah,
other
come
side
on this
there.
way. So yeah, maybe you can explain, Bob, what's different about this one compared to the other one.
Well, these are the new graphics they came out with. They're a lot more visible, which is what the sheriff wanted. We also have LED lights underneath the mirrors and up-to-date LEDs on the roof racks as well. So lower profile and definitely very bright.
So you say this has kind of been a process for a long time. It's because, I mean,
Everything evolves constantly. There's new technology that's constantly coming out. We're constantly looking for ways to make sure that we're more visible so that people know where we are, and it's for the officers' safety, most of all, to make sure they stay safe.
how do you get the old graphics off?
Well, we can't change them. We have chemicals that can come in and start lifting it. We have to peel it back.
Really?
And then we got to, almost like compound down the car to get it clear again, and then we can put new graphics on.
So it takes time. We've been doing this for
yes.
a while.
Oh, yes.
All right, what was your question? We got another question here.
Sure, from Daniel Torres. Is the sheriff's office switching the entire fleet to the new Explorers?
That's a good question. Are we switching all of our cars to the new Explorers?
No, every year we go through a vehicle selection process to see what vehicles we're going to choose for that year, or what are better equipped and what are better priced. Because we do have to make sure that we stay fiscally responsible and make sure that the officers stay safe as well.
Excellent. All right, let's go back over to the bays here. So if you're just joining us, we're taking a tour of fleet management. We've done these tours for the last few days because we know a lot of parents and students are at home right now. If you missed some of the other ones, we did one at the mounted unit, which was a lot of fun. We had a lot of horses, got to talk to the horses. We also went to the forensics unit on Friday, which was a lot of fun too. And today we're doing fleet management. So come on this way. I want to see some cars being fixed here. How many cars do you fix a year? Do you have any idea? Or how much service do you do every year to cars?
We do quite a bit.
All right.
As far as an actual number, I don't have.
Okay.
I don't know.
But you're constantly busy.
Oh,
Constantly.
yes. We run actually 2 shifts of technicians. We actually start at 5:30 in the morning. We wrap it up at 10:30 at night.
Really?
Yes, and there's many times we actually work overtime on the weekends when we get that backed up, and we have people that want to work the overtime. We do work on Saturdays just to try and get caught up.
All right, let's come on in here real quick, because we keep showing everybody these bays, but we're not actually going inside. So, I mean, this looks like a typical shop, right? But is it any different than where you might go to like a Firestone or even your own dealership?
Well, it is a lot different. Here, our emphasis is on making sure the job is done right, correctly, and that the officers stay safe. And that, I don't think, is quite the same attitude out in the world of retail, because I think they're all about numbers and making money, whereas with us, we're just trying to make sure that deputies stay safe and the cars are fixed absolutely correctly. That's why we train our employees constantly, and we help each other to make sure that quality is 100%.
All right, Angela, you had a question.
Sure.
Somebody had a question.
Kelly Murphy, what makes a car get taken out of the fleet?
That's a good question. So what makes a car come out of fleet or come off the road, or why do people even have to bring them into the shop here?
Everything as far as equipment has a life cycle. The life cycle is basically, usually we go by miles, and so we have a designated miles, but as the car gets older, depending on what part of the agency is being used in, and depending on different things that have gone wrong with it, at a certain point you have to weigh out whether or not it makes sense to fix it or to decommission it and auction it off. Because obviously you can't just keep throwing money into something if the car starts failing and you have a big repair like a transmission or it needs a motor and it's at the end of its life cycle. That's when we have to decide whether or not we're going to fix it or decommission it.
Yeah, and you got to think, I mean, a lot of the deputies that are on the road, I mean, they're constantly on the road. I mean, they don't drive it like maybe you and I drive it to and from work, maybe to the grocery store. A lot of deputies, I mean, they're driving 8-hour shifts, 10-hour shifts, 12-hour shifts all day long. And, you know, they're stopping and going, and so I'm sure there's a lot of wear and tear on our deputy vehicles.
These cars run basically the whole shift that the officer is working. The K9, that car is running all day.
Yeah. If you don't know, our K9 units, they leave their cars running because they want to make sure the dogs are in an air-conditioned vehicle the whole time. So they're running 8, 10, 12 hours all day long.
Right, and that brings up a whole array of challenges with these cars that most people don't have. Because most people are driving maybe 30, 40 minutes at most and they're done.
All right.
Yeah, these things are running all day.
Let's walk through here. I'm going to tell Antoine, be careful. I don't want you to trip on anything or fall on anything here. So maybe explain kind of, Bob, what we got here. What are we looking at here?
Well, these are back-to-back bays, which gives us better airflow, and we have these big ceiling fans and ventilators to try and keep the temperature down where it's livable. We actually work on the cars, behind the cars as well. All the toolboxes are lined up on each bay. Usually, when you have 2 shifts, I have, this is an evening bay technician here, and then I would have a day shift person over there.
And we mostly have a lot of Ford Explorers. I know we have some older Chevy Impalas.
Correct.
I actually drive a Ford Fusion.
Right.
Is there a vehicle that we purposely purchased or a lot of people drive? Is it mostly the Explorers?
They're all over the place. We drive everything from Toyotas. We even have a Toyota Prius. I think we have 2 of those. We have 4 Tauruses, Nissan Pathfinders. It's all over the place. It's not just, you have the patrol cars, but you have a lot of other.
As I said, it's a little loud here. I'm going to come this way, maybe away from this fan up here. This is a working area here at the Sheriff's Office, and so they don't stop for our live tours. But so you said about 2,400 vehicles and pieces of equipment that we service. How do you do that? I mean, how do you know how to fix a Gator and how to fix a Ford Explorer? I mean, how do you learn that?
That's something that comes with time and experience, just like anything else. We have people that when we first hire them, they might be an excellent technician on regular cars, but if you have a lot of the basics and everything, the other stuff is all pretty much the same.
So the people that work on the vehicles, where do you find them? How do you get people to work here?
Well, a lot of times we go to the outside and we look for people that are AAC certified. I've been master certified for 25 years. An AAC certification, at least it shows us that you have a lot of the basic knowledge and information to fix cars.
And the good news is, if you are somebody who knows how to fix cars or you're interested, we are always hiring here at the Orange County Sheriff's Office. Is that right?
Yeah, it's very true. We've got big openings right now we're trying to fill.
All right. So let's check out a car here. I mean, I don't know if you can just sort of look at this and say what's going on, but what's going on here?
Well,
Get a little closer.
all the cars have a work order. This one came in for an oil change, but the AC is blowing hot. A common issue with these Impalas is the cooling fans fail on them in harnesses. And that's what they are changing here. They're waiting on the parts so they can get back in this car and put it together.
So that's a good point. I mean, let's say somebody comes in for an oil change. Since the car is in here, do you try to see what else is going on?
We always want to make sure that the officer is safe at all times. So whenever the car comes in, we always give it a quick going over and take a look at everything to make sure they're going to be safe.
What are some of the typical problems that people have with their cars here?
Usually brakes and tires, and that's mainly because, unfortunately, it would be nice if the criminals would just pull over when the lights go on, but unfortunately that doesn't seem to always work.
So you heard it from Bob. If you're a criminal, just pull over so it doesn't wear and tear on our
It
cars.
makes all our lives a lot easier. It really does. But because of that, they have to work these cars hard in order to do their jobs. They break down. The brakes wear out and the tires wear out.
So let's say I'm a deputy. I'm not a deputy, but let's say I'm a deputy and I have to bring my car in here. Does that mean I don't get a car? Do I got to go walk around the beat?
No, we do have a certain amount of pool vehicles that we can loan out to the deputies, and at the same token, we try to get cars in and out and minimize downtime as much as we can.
So I know like a typical repair shop, you know, they might have some parts somewhere, and you were saying they were waiting on parts. Where do you get parts at?
Oh, funny you should mention that.
We'll get there. But do we order them, or we have a storeroom?
We have a storeroom
Okay.
that we keep quite a bit of parts that are readily used. That helps too with the regular patrol cars, because most of them are in pallets or explorers. We know pretty much what we can keep in stock to
Okay.
make sure that we have the parts readily available for the most common problems.
Is that the same for tires and windshield wipers and all that stuff?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
I mean, when you have common things that are used on a regular basis, you try to make sure that you have the parts on hand, so when somebody does come in and say, hey, I've got a noise from my brakes, we can bring it in, check it out, get brakes on it, and get the car back on the road as soon as possible.
Now, if you're just joining us, we're taking a tour of fleet management here at the Sheriff's Office. If you got any questions, type them in below. We'll try to answer them as best we can. I'm here with Bob Jewell. He is the acting fleet supervisor, and he knows all about cars. And if you've missed some of our other live streams, go check those out. We went to the mounted stables. We went to forensics. We're here at Fleet. Later this week, I think we're going to go to aviation, where we fly the helicopters, so that should be a lot of fun. And Bob, you mentioned helicopters. You fix helicopters too?
No, we don't.
Okay. Do not touch the helicopters. That's
Just things that stay on the ground.
okay, that's a little more specialized. What about boats? Do you fix boats?
We do tinker with them from time to time, but for the most part, they bring them mostly to the Marines.
Okay, all right.
Those are the experts.
They have their own sort of group that
Same
does
thing
it.
with the motorcycles. Most of the motorcycles, we do the upfitting here, and we do some general repair work with them. But for all the heavier stuff, it usually goes straight to Holland.
Okay, all right. Well, let's keep walking here. Any questions, Antoine?
Sure.
All right.
How many miles does a car usually need before you get a new one or exchange?
All right, I'm going to ask that again because we got some workers here. So what's maybe the average amount of miles? Does that sound right?
Yes.
What's the average amount of miles a car can go before we got to replace it?
Usually about 130,000.
All right, mine's at about 100, so maybe I'll get a new one in about 30,000 miles.
You never know.
I don't drive as much as some of the deputies do. So, all right, let's head this way. We're gonna sneak by if that's all right. What's your name? Abdul. This is Abdul. He's fixing a car right here. Say hi.
Say hi.
everybody, Abdul. All right. What are you doing?
Overheated.
Oh, it overheated. Okay. Well, it's Florida. It's hot, so cars overheat, I guess. But yeah, this is an older one, so hopefully this can last a little bit longer because of you. All right, come on, Antoine. Oh, we're gonna check this out. So wait, we're gonna come up over here. He's fixing the lights like we talked about earlier. What was your name? What was it? Ramsey. So Ramsey, can you explain what you're doing loudly?
I was repairing the wiring on a light bar. It was a cut wiring.
All right. So this one light wasn't working, or was it?
It was a strobe inside.
Okay. All right. So it's all fixed now.
Yes, sir.
Nice. I heard you hitting the siren too.
No,
Oh, that was somebody else.
somebody else. We
Okay.
test them as we drive them in.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Ramsey.
Got it.
All right. Let's head this way if we can, Antoine. Don't fall. What kind of tools you got here? I mean, I feel like you just have thousands of tools.
We all have our own tools. This gentleman has quite a bit of snap-on tools, tobacco. As you can see, they're all different tools. Whatever everyone likes to use. Personally, I always use snap-on.
Okay.
I've always been a little abusive with my tools, so they gotta last. They gotta have a warranty, so you get replaced.
All right. So that we're not paid by Snap-on, but he's endorsing Snap-on tools. All right. Let's head this way. Any questions, Antoine?
Sure, we have a 2018 ASE Master Technician of the Year here.
Oh.
Are we hiring?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah. Just go to ocso.com/employment, I think, or just go to ocso.com. You can find it, or just type in your info below. We'll reach out to you because I think you said we have at least 3 openings, and if you want to be a deputy, we can probably get you to be a deputy as well. All right, let's head in here. All right, so this is another part of fleet management, and this is, explain what this is, Bob.
This is the parts department.
Say hi.
How you doing?
Mr. Brandon.
Nice to meet everybody.
Brandon, what do you do here?
Well, I run the parts department. We house all the equipment for our new fleet. We also, house all the car parts we need.
All right, let's come back there. I mean, this looks cool, but we're gonna come back here. So if you're just joining us, we're taking a tour of fleet management. If you got any questions, put them down below. We're gonna go back here to where all the parts are. There's some tires here. It smells like a tire store right here.
Smells like rubber.
All right, come on back. It is much cooler back here than it is out
It's
there.
great working in air conditioning.
This is like the good job, I feel right. So Brandon, explain, how long have you been here at the Sheriff's Office?
About 3 years.
3 years. What did you do before this?
Just a mechanic at various other shops, and yeah, got an opportunity here and just kind of grown within the agency.
So walk us through, what do we got here?
Yeah, so with pretty much all of this is just our replacement parts. We have it divided up between manufacturers. So this will be our Ford row. This is more of our Dodge Chrysler row, and then this will be our General Motors row. And we just try to keep up with demand, ever-changing technology.
Yeah. Which row seems to get the most parts taken out of it?
Well, it varies. Yeah, right. It varies. I really can't answer that because I'm sure there's some bias in that. So. But no, yeah, it's just keeping up with ever-changing fleet. Technology's gotten crazy with stuff. So.
Are there certain parts that do go faster? Is it brakes?
Yes.
Is it wipers?
Yeah, well, us being servicing police vehicles, yeah, suspension and brake components are our main cycle parts.
All right. So do you just like order them in bulk, or like where do you get all the parts from?
Well, recently we've ordered them in bulk because with everything going on, a lot of the manufacturers have shut down. But generally, we just try to keep a steady stock, and we monitor how frequently we go through certain parts. Hey, we're going through it faster in the summertime versus the wintertime, and we try to compensate for that. But yeah, recently we definitely ordered them in bulk.
So if you desperately need a part and you don't have it, I mean, what do? Do you try to overnight, or do you try to go find it somewhere here in Central Florida?
We have a great list of vendors, and they all work with us. They all know the importance of our account, so they try to get, if they don't have it in stock, they'll do their best to find it from somewhere, and they'll get it to us as fast as we can because they know we got to keep the cars on the road.
I see a bunch of keys here.
Yes.
that
yes.
reminds me of, what if a deputy or even a civilian, I shouldn't just pick up a deputy, what if they lose their keys? Can you fix that? Or?
Well, we have master keys for all the vehicles in the fleet. With that said, we cut and we have the software here to program them. So we try to keep as much in-house as we can for cost reasons. But yeah, this is actually our new fleet keys. So this stuff is ordered for the vehicles that are waiting on equipment. And we just, we try to keep the flow going.
All right, what do you like about your job?
Oh, I love every part of it. I mean, it's ever-changing, never boring for a dull moment, right?
That's because it changes every minute of every day.
And at the end of the day, it really gives you a sense of purpose, what we do here. And sometimes if you lose track on that, believe me, the next day you'll remember how important this job is.
Yeah, because I think, you drive your car, or probably deputies drive their car, you might think, this is fine, but somebody had to make sure it works all the time and works properly.
Right, safety and the quality of the components we put on the vehicles is just vital here for what these cars go through. So.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Brandon. All right, we're going to head this way. You want to go this way, Bob?
You can.
All right, let's head this way.
We have
Any
a question for Bob. What's the preferred vehicle of choice by the deputies?
Oh.
Well, at the moment, it is the Explorers.
All right.
Mainly because it's all-wheel drive and it gives them a lot, safer feel on the road as far as traction and stopping.
So, Bob, let's go this way, because what do we have here? This looks like a radio. This looks like a radio shack. Maybe Brandon can explain it.
Usually, this is actually all empty through here, and this is where we keep pallets for new shipment. But this is new fleet time, so we have to house most of the equipment for 150 plus vehicles. So we put them on carts, and then as it cycles through, we either refill it or move the cart away. Yep.
So these are like the radios and stuff?
So these we try to save as much. We try to be as physically responsible as we can because these are actually pulled out of decommissioned vehicles. With that said, it's not as cost effective a lot of times to buy a new siren. A lot of times we'll prefer sending it out, having it rebuilt. It actually saves a few bucks doing that.
That's great.
And this is certified from them, and we just got to make sure the equipment is up to par and up to standard. They're not going to have any failures when they really need it.
Yeah. Could you put a siren in my car?
Well, I could. I could just send me an email.
All right. I don't need a siren for anything, but it might be fun to have one.
Yeah.
As long as you can get approved through your chain of command.
Okay, all right,
We're good.
all right. Let's head this way, Antoine. Thank you so much, Brad.
Oh, no problem. Yeah, y'all can go out this way.
Oh, we go this way?
Yep.
Is that the best way, Bob?
Where are we going?
Let's go this way. Let's go
Okay,
this
go
way.
this way.
We got any
I'll go
questions,
left.
Antoine?
I have Greg Bugsby.
Oh wait, actually, let's stay here real quick because it's quiet right here.
He says, I'm looking to get a newer used truck or car. What can you recommend for replacement for my truck, a 1996 Mazda?
All right, so you've had that car for like 25 years, so it might be time for a replacement. Glad you're maybe looking at some new ones. Do you make recommendations?
Honestly, the best thing I can say is go through consumer reports and see how they rate all the different vehicles, and that should give you a pretty good handle on what's a decent vehicle to buy.
That's a very good answer. No recommendations here, but at least go do your own research, I guess. All right, like I said, since it's quiet in here, I'll ask you a few more questions. I want to talk about accidents. All right, so every now and then our cars get in accidents. Sometimes they're our fault. Sometimes they're other people's fault. How do you fix cars that are wrecked here, or do you?
We don't. Most of the time we send them out unless it's something where they got forced off the road and it's just strictly front end damage or something like that, where we can just replace some front end components and get it aligned. Other than that, we send them out to body shops and have the work done.
Okay, so body work isn't the specialty here.
No, you need a lot of specialized equipment for that, and you need a paint booth, and there's a lot of to that.
So I don't know if you know the answer to this, but I'll ask you anyway. When it comes to Central Florida, I assume we probably have the largest shop of any law enforcement agency.
I don't think we're number one. I think we're more like 2 or 3.
Okay.
I think Miami, I think, is the number one.
But in Central Florida, we're the biggest.
Central Florida, we are the biggest.
Okay, but Miami, I mean, they're a bigger city, so they probably have a larger one. But do all the other departments, do they have something similar to this?
Yes, they do.
Okay, so even somewhere like Maitland or Altamont that might have a smaller agency, they still have people fixing their cars. They don't just send them out to...
Absolutely, they're probably not as large as ours is, but they all do.
Do you ever communicate with any of the other departments?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Well, it's always good to throw ideas back and forth in between, different agencies and different counties and stuff like that. We can all learn from one another and hopefully come out with a better solution.
All right. If anybody has any questions, put them in the comments below. We're taking a tour of Fleet. We got to see some parts. We got to see the bays. We're going to head outside here in a second. Do you got any questions, Antoine?
How fast do the cars go?
Oh, how fast do the cars go?
As fast as they need to be.
Yes. Do you take them out for test drives before you give them back to the deputies?
Well, we always do. We always test drive, but we don't exceed the speed limit.
Oh, of course not. Of course
we
not.
don't. I mean,
Yeah.
true story.
All right, let's head out here. We good? All right. So now we are outside here at Fleet Management. Tell me about these cars here. What are these ones?
These are all cars that either need to be repaired or new fleets that are coming in, trickling in, that we got to upfit and get ready for to release on the road.
So all of these are somehow fleet cars, even
Yep.
like this van right here, and
Yes.
okay. So
Yes,
yeah,
we
we
are.
have. So why do we? That's a good question for you, Bob. Why do we have a variety of cars? Why not
Well-
just have Ford Explorers and Chevy Impalas and that's it?
Because all the different departments in the agency have different roles and different things that they have to do, and it's just like a tool in your toolbox. You wouldn't have just all wrenches. You need the hammers, you need the open end wrenches, you need torque wrenches, you need impact tools, because they all are designed to do different things.
Okay.
Same thing with our vehicles and our fleet. We have different cars for different parts of the agency depending on what their function is.
So you had mentioned a little bit earlier, and I'm not giving anything away here. We have some undercover cars.
Yes,
Is there
we do.
anything special about those inside, or they just look, or do they have like radios and all that, or not?
They have what they need to do their
Okay.
job.
All right. That's
Not like
a
they-
good answer. What about the pickups? I know we have a lot of pickup trucks as well. Are those different?
No, not really. And we've been trying to get a few more pickups in our fleet, mainly because, unfortunately, we are a hurricane state, so we want to make sure that we are ready in case of an emergency, and pickups do help out quite a bit with that.
All right. Let's head this way. You got any questions?
Sure. Are the vehicles 4, 6, or 8 cylinders?
Oh, there you go. That's
Actually,
a technical question.
It's all over the map, to
All
be
right.
honest with you. We have some four-cylinder with turbos that actually perform just as well as the 8s. and we have everything in the middle as well.
What happens if you can't figure out the problem of a car? Does that ever happen where somebody brings it in, this thing's doing this, and I don't know what's going on? Do you ever have problems?
Most of the time we figure it out.
Okay.
Now, on occasion, it doesn't pay for us to get, I mean, the technicians here are really absolutely phenomenal. I've been blessed to be able to work with these guys. They all have the incredible talents, but at the same token, it doesn't pay for us fiscally to spend all the time trying to figure out, you know, a complex computer or wiring problem in a car. We should send it out to the dealer. They charge us a flat rate,
Yeah.
and they come up with the answer. That way we can, you know, get all the cars done a little bit quicker.
How many people actually work here? How many technicians?
I have 22 technicians.
Okay. All right. What happens if a car breaks down on the road? Because a lot of times I'll bring my car in. I'm sure other deputies bring it here, but I'm sure every now and then it breaks down on the road. What happens then?
Basically, they call us at the service desk, and we arrange for a tow for them to bring it into fleet.
Okay, so it gets towed here.
Correct.
What if somebody runs out of gas?
That has not happened.
Has never happened?
No.
I'm sure it never. I mean, I'm not
that
going to
I'm
do
aware
it.
of.
I feel like somebody in all the years and all the cars has been like, my car's broke. You're just out of gas.
I'm sure if that were to happen to somebody, they'd probably be too embarrassed to tell anybody. They took care of it themselves.
That's probably
I
true.
have no knowledge of it.
All right, Bob, let's head this way. We're almost done here, but if you got any questions, put them in the comments below. We're taking a tour of fleet management here at the Orange County Sheriff's Office. If we don't get to your question during this live tour, we'll try to go back and answer as many as we can. Feel free to share this if you know anybody who might be interested in cars or car repair. And if you're really, really interested and you want to work here, we are always hiring, so just go to OCSO.com. We're going to head over this way because after the car has been fixed and tested and all that, you got to make sure it's clean as well, right?
Correct.
So we have, I think somebody might be actually cleaning one. We have our own car wash here. Tell me about this, Bob.
Well, no, a lot of times we try to make sure the cars stay clean, so as they clean.
All right, that's pretty simple. But you said, we were talking earlier that right now I think some of our staff is cleaning them, but in the past we've used people that, we call them trustees. Explain what a trustee is.
Trustee is somebody that runs the law, but on a minor level.
Yes.
And as a result, and it's a non-violent crime, they're allowed to come here and to work during the day. It gets them out of there, they feel productive, and they help us out here as far as either cleaning cars or emptying garbage or whatever we need done around the property.
Yeah, and so these are people that might be at the Orange County Jail and they come here and work for the day. As you said, they're usually
Well,
low.
as you can see, we are, you know, a semi-secured facility.
Yeah, this is all, you got to use your key card to get into everything here. But the people that come from the Orange County Jail, a lot of times I had heard before we started, they might be people that might owe back child support or something like that. It's usually a non-violent crime. But yeah, I've seen them out here working and cleaning and making the cars look nice.
They do a great job, they really do.
Is this the only job they do here?
No, they do this, or they, you know, as I said, they might police a lot, and you know, it's funny. Trust me, they don't drive anything.
Yeah. So, like, could I bring my car here and come get it washed?
Your agency vehicle?
Yeah.
Sure.
Do I have to do it? Which I don't mind doing it.
I got news for you. Most of the deputies do clean their own cars.
Okay.
In fact, I know a few captains that come here and actually clean their own cars as well.
I would love to clean my own car. I didn't even know that was an option. It's actually dirty right now, so I probably need a
As
good
long as
cleaner.
you know, the only thing we always ask here at Fleet is that you stop at the service desk and just check those, because especially as Brandon said before, we're in that mode right now where we're upfitting the new fleet.
Yeah.
And as a result, we need to keep them clean at all times.
All right, Antoine, we got any questions?
Sure. They want to know where are our specialty vehicles?
Okay, yeah. So specialty vehicles. Can you talk about that?
Well, they're special vehicles, and they're usually not here.
Okay. But we do have like some SWAT vehicles, which we
Right.
call the Bearcat. Do we fix those as well, or do you fix those?
Yes, we do fix the Bearcat when it does need challenges taken care of, and that's here. We have other vehicles as well. We do have an MRAP, and then
What is that?
It's used over in Afghanistan and everything like that.
Oh,
It's
okay.
completely bulletproof, and you know, unfortunately, there's times when they need something like that.
That's one of the SWAT vehicles.
Correct.
We also have a food truck that we recently got. You probably haven't seen it yet, have you? Or did you wrap it?
I didn't wrap it, but we did have it wrapped. I did not see the final product on that.
It looks
I was
good.
Working in other areas at that point.
We'll show that off on another tour, but yeah, we have a truck. It's a food truck, but it's really for emergencies when our deputies are out working, possibly a hurricane or after a hurricane. It's a way to feed them. Yeah. So, but you can cook food in it. It's really cool. Questions? Any more questions?
Sure. What is the oldest vehicle that we have?
Oh,
complete?
what's the oldest vehicle?
I think we got a 1996 Ford F450.
Really?
Yes.
What's that used for?
It's used to move around some of the trailers and stuff like that.
Okay, all right. So it's a big old truck that we
yeah.
keep around.
Oh yeah.
That thing
Got a
probably
lift gate on it and everything.
that'll stay around for a while. It sounds like.
Absolutely.
Built Ford tough.
Yep.
All right, let's do one more question, then we're gonna get out of here. What do you got, Antoine?
Does the OCSO still do auctions?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, so auctions. A lot of people know police auctions. We still do auctions.
We don't do them here. All the cars go to Tampa.
Okay, so we do have vehicles that eventually get sort of
Correct.
out, but
correct.
we don't do the auctions anymore.
Correct.
We send them to Tampa.
This agency is going in leaps and bounds, as most of us know, and as a result, we just don't have the room for vehicles. So we found an easier way, and we just ship them out to Tampa and then auction off of there.
All right, so if you're looking for a decommissioned police vehicle, go to Tampa and get it at auction. And Bob, I think that's all the time we got. Thank you so much for the tour of
problem
Fleet.
at all, anytime.
Thanks everybody who watched this. Like I said, if you didn't see some of our other ones, we have one that we went to the mountain unit. We did a tour there. We also did a tour at forensics. And later this week, we're going to go to aviation. Keep tuning in. We're going to go all over the agency. If you like this, share it. Put some questions down there. We'll try to get them answered. I'm John Bustegger, and we'll see you next time.